What's going on, everyone? Welcome. Today is Tuesday. It is October 18th, 2022. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup. Good morning, Mark. How are you all? What's going on? I want to know if you're here. Drop a comment in the chat. Say hello. Say good morning. It is completely dark out. Doesn't that change soon? Do we have daylight savings time coming soon? I think we do. I look forward to it being not completely pitch black. And then it will again for a little while. In the middle of winter, but it's okay. These things happen. How was your Monday? How was the start of your week? Did it go okay? Did you check out yesterday's episode of Martial Arts Radio with Elvis Stoico? We got some wonderful feedback on that episode. I think it came out great. So if you haven't checked it out, I hope you will. Now today on First Cup, we've got, we're celebrating the birthday of one of the most famous martial arts actors of all time. We will talk about him a bit, and we'll see what else we talk about. It'll be up to you. Good morning, Frank. Good morning, Nathan. I expect some of you, hopefully, are coming to us live from Twitch, where we're trying to get over the hump and get to an average of 3 people. I just need 3 people to keep watching on Twitch, and eventually we will get there. People seem like they're dragging out a little bit later than normal today. Maybe something's going on. Maybe because it's cold. And what is the temperature outside? It is 48 here. That's not too bad for mid-October. I'll take it. Yesterday was a pretty productive day. I had a decent day. Good morning, Gad. Good morning, Jenny. Had a number of meetings and did a bunch of things in between. I've talked before about the various, bear with me, it's going to sound the various substances that I take to remain productive and alert and everything, various nootropics, caffeine, of course, being the world's most famous nootropic, and the things that I mess with in my coffee, putting theanine in, which I'm actually out of right now, but stuff like that. I was looking at the schedule for Free Training Day Northeast coming up in a few weeks, November 12th, 11, 12, 13, and realizing, hey, there's a lot going on here. And I said, I'm going to want something. I'm going to want some manner of nootropic aid to remain not awake. We're not talking about stimulants. We're talking about mental clarity. So I ordered a sample kit from a company that does not sponsor us or anything, so I'm not going to bother with their name. And it's a month worth of samples. And I took the first one yesterday, and it went pretty well. I had a pretty good day. I was alert. And in fact, I think I'm still feeling a little bit of the benefit this morning. Good morning. Frank says we're not doing daylight savings time anymore. He says it may have changed so we no longer fall back. I would love to get rid of daylight savings time in general, but I haven't heard that. I know that people keep advancing bills in Congress to make that happen, and they keep losing. Gad just got back from a stroll with Sunny and Sky. I assume those are your dogs. Good morning, Dennis and Tommy and Brian. Yep. But I don't want him to view push-ups as a punishment. I want him to enjoy them. One of the number one things and I think Jenny's referencing the teaching class, the MATIC course that we did. If you tell someone, hey, you've messed up on this, you have to go do this, it's going to be seen as punishment. If you treat it as punishment, It's punishment. We don't want that. We want punishment to be something that is not contradictory to what we want younger martial arts students to do. We want them to do push-ups. We want them to practice horse stance. You got to give them something else. I don't know what that is. It's too early. Tommy says, how many of you can read this without at least a little bit of singing? Hello, darkness, my old friend. Gad says, I've heard good things about ginkgo. Ginkgo biloba is good. It can be a bit stimulating, which is not what I need. I drink a whole pot of coffee in the morning. It's the last thing that I need. Tommy says, soon it will be dark at 4 p.m. It absolutely will. One of the things I found interesting about being in Atlanta over the weekend was that it was darker. It was dark a little bit later in the morning, and it remained light later in the day. I always find that interesting. If I go on vacation somewhere down in the tropics, very short days, 12-hour days at the equator. Jenny says, scientifically speaking, our bodies need the light in the morning and dark in the evening to fall into a proper sleep-wake schedule. She says cycle. Yes, which is why at night I start turning off lights and using candles, or I have red light bulbs in a number of fixtures. Start doing that as it's getting dark. And in the morning, I have as many lights on as I can really do. And I have a blue light at my desk that I use for a little bit in the morning, just to try and get me to wake up. Jenny's right. I was just joking about push-ups as punishment. In fact, when I was an English teacher, I never gave them writing as punishment. Exactly. I also wanted them to enjoy that and see it as a natural element of their education. Jenny says, we touch on this with some stuff in 12 Months to Health, which is approaching the 1-year mark. Oh, and we are falling back an hour November 6th. Okay, there we go. I was moving some stuff around, digging out last night. And you know what I found mixed in with my books? A first edition of Martial Artist Handbook. I'm not sure what we're going to do with that. I have a couple ideas. But it's with the collector's edition cover. Can't get it anymore. I know some of you out there collect books. So I'm thinking, I'm toying with ideas. I have ideas. So, so what's going on today? Today's a recording day. I've got 3 guest interviews. We had 4. Somebody's got to reschedule. But Andrew and I are going to record a Q&A, a live Q&A at, I believe we're doing 11:30. Let me double check. Yep. Yeah, it's at 11:30. So if you are around, watch for us to go live. Have a live episode. And Frank reminds us, today's the day Ralph Macchio's book hits stores, titled Waxing On, which I have to say is an absolutely terrible title for a book. I don't like it. I think they could have done better. But I've seen a number of things from people who had a chance to read the book ahead of release, and I guess there's some good behind the scenes stuff. If you're a big fan of Karate Kid or Ralph Macchio in general, or Cobra Kai, what else did My Cousin Vinny, what else did he do? Then you might want to check out the book. Brian, it will likely be swept off the shelves. I love it. Jenny says, Ralph needs a book director to review his title choices. I suspect he didn't pick that title. But yes, he does. Yeah, so that's the day. Oh, and we have an awards meeting tonight, don't we? I have down that we do. Getting ready for the evening of November 12th when the Never Settle Awards will be handed out at the dinner post Free Training Day Northeast. I have been enjoying seeing the sharing circulating around the internet. People saying, hey, help me get this person recognized. Stacey says, good morning. She said, yes, we do. Awards, awards, awards. Kat says, Ralph Macchio, name sounds familiar. Isn't he the one who owns that chain of Brazilian beauty salons? Brad says, all I can hear is sweep the book. Oh, all of a sudden we're selling a ton of gear. I have two boxes over there. I went to bed last night and woke up to 2 more orders. I don't even know what's. In fact, one of the orders is a school that ordered stuff over there. It's kind of cool. I suspect people are having a hard time getting gear, and maybe I need to order more already. And Stacey says, watch out for Andrew and I. We're going to have fun. Andrew's going to MC the dinner that evening. That was my recommendation because he's good at stuff like that. He's very gregarious, and I'm going to be exhausted. So I'm looking forward to that dinner. You know, it's not going to be anything formal. It's not like we're going to have an awards gala, but just a little bit of conversation, a little bit coming from I don't even know. I don't even know what we're going to do for a podium and such things, but something for people to think about, listen to for a little bit of dinner. We're probably not going to, it's not going to be for terribly long. So there you go. All right. Now, Frank sent over some stuff. And as always, I appreciate Frank and all of his work behind the scenes. And Josh Blum made our theme song. I didn't do this part. Let's do this part. So let's see. Today, in 1960, Jean-Claude Van Damme was born. Did you know that? Did you know Jean-Claude Van Damme was born in 1960? So what does that make him? 40, 62. Van Damme is 62 years old. That's crazy. Wow. His fight scenes are so intense that he won't film them in the US for fear of being sued. I don't know if that's true anymore, but I had heard things about that in the early days with Kickboxer and Bloodsport, that there was real concern. You know, if you remember the fight scenes that they did in those early 80s films were unlike other fight scenes. There's a reason everybody loved Van Damme back then, because those were some pretty brutal fight scenes. Think about with the end of Kickboxer, right? Like it's just right. There's so much intensity and blood everywhere, and I can only imagine that on set people are going pretty hard on those fight scenes. Tommy says, might have a mobile podium. Remind me. Stacy, that's on you. Maybe somebody in the chat can help Brian out. Van Damme suffered from mood swings and depressions for years, causing him to seek his refuge in martial arts and drugs. Finally, after several attempts at rehab, he visited a neurologist who diagnosed him with rapid cycling bipolar disorder. With appropriate medication, he has managed to stay off drugs ever since, and he's even remarried his former wife, Gladys Portugues, and he's an animal rights activist. I think the mental illness, the drug addiction, it's a perfect storm coupled in with absolutely rapid fame. Van Damme went from zero to a world superstar in one movie. He's absolutely iconic. He's legendary. And there was even a point, it wasn't that long ago, if I remember correctly, that he was homeless. In his 50s, he was homeless, right? Like, don't fly too close to the sun, right? Like, people burn out. I don't know how people do it, that level of fame. When I think about the people who are very, very famous and have remained famous for a while, I was watching The Conners last night, which is the continuation of the reboot of Roseanne. I was thinking about John Goodman. John Goodman is one of my favorite actors. I think he's one of the best actors of all time. I think as celebrated as he is still underrated. When was the last time you saw John Goodman in a scandal? When was the last time John Goodman was on TV telling people what to feel or believe or do? Right? He does his job. And the actors that have remained at the top for a long time, that seems to be a pattern. They do their thing. They treat it like a job. And when they're not doing their job, they stick to themselves. And I think there's a lesson in there. I think there's a lesson for all of us. Just because you have the opportunity to speak and people will listen doesn't mean you necessarily should. This coffee is so good. Kelly says, if you look at one of the fights in Bloodsport, one of the fighters flips the wrong way after a hit. Ha! I didn't know that. Jared said it's more likely the Hollywood insurance companies wouldn't cover him in the movies, a la Jackie Chan. Kelly says, yeah, Jackie couldn't use American stuntmen. They couldn't move and respond fast enough. Tommy agrees with me. John Goodman is awesome. If you're not watching The Conners, you might want to consider it. It's not always warm and fuzzy, but I've always appreciated those characters and the way that they're willing to tackle any subject, any issue. It's there. There's just enough humor to release the pressure, but it's serious. And if you're at all a fan of the TV show Shameless, the American version of Shameless, second actor from that show just popped up in yesterday's episode. That was kind of cool. Think about John Goodman in The Big Lebowski. Just absolutely remarkable acting performance. Kat says, Jean-Claude Van Damme is awesome, and he doesn't take himself too seriously. Just watch the movie, JCVD. Every time I drive up to Brussels, which is not far from here, I turn to my wife and say, that's where the legend Jean-Claude Van Damme was born. And Zed says, he didn't fall the wrong way. The hit was so hard it broke the laws of physics. Dennis says, I manage my fame. Well, oh wait, famous is different. Oh, you guys are right. There have been some interesting studies, surveys, somewhere between a survey and a study about people's desire for fame. And the first one I heard about was something like, if for athletes, for Olympic bound athletes, if you could win a gold medal but die in some period of years after, some relatively short time, it was like 5 years or 6 years or something, would you do it? And the overwhelming majority said yes. And then the other, again, survey study that I've read about that I find very interesting is about fame versus wealth. And that a large portion of younger folks would take fame over wealth. You can do a lot more with wealth than you can with fame. And at times, fame is a handicap. And I can only imagine being some very recognized celebrity and not being able to go to the grocery store by yourself, having to plan that out, having to take security or, be super intentional about every single thing I say or do or wear. It sounds exhausting. I've said it before, I think, on this show. I want just enough fame, just enough that I could take those tiny little guest roles on TV shows and people would watch and say, wait, is that Jeremy? But they're not quite sure. That is the maximum amount of fame that I want right there. But hopefully money comes first, because I can do a lot more with my mission, our mission, with money than I can with being recognizable. Because that's really all fame is. It's people recognizing you. I don't need that. So we closed the VIP bundles yesterday. Shirt order is already off to the printer, and I sent Andrew all the graphics for the special edition of the shirt. It's a special edition back. The front will be the same. The back of the ones you order online does not exist. It's a plain back. Now, we did not fully sell out the bundles. We limited it to 50. So here's what's going on. You won't be able to get a shirt as part of the bundle, but Andrew and I have talked and we've agreed that we will permit people to purchase the non-shirt portion of the bundle, the stuff, the bag with the books and the this and that and all the other things that are ordered or coming or here that we're going to do for a certain price that is TBD. I will promise you, if you ordered the bundle with a shirt, you will not regret having done that price-wise. We're not going to do it so inexpensive that you're going to go, oh, I wish I had waited. No, that's not what's going to happen. But there are people who, anytime we put on an event, people are more willing to buy something when they're there. And we'd like to sell out the rest of the 50 so we can do next year and go back to those sponsors and say, yes, we sold out these 50. So there you go. So as we start to close up here, you know what I'm looking forward to? I'm looking forward to my conversations today. Fun fact, of the 3 remaining guests, I know 2 of them personally, one in very different contexts. One of them is someone that I think the absolute world of, one of my favorite people in martial arts. And, frankly, it's someone that very few of you would know, just someone I know from being around. And he's a wonderful man with a very kind heart. And the other one is doing great, great things. And my knowledge of him comes from having a bunch of mutual friends in the martial arts. And I think very highly of him, and been bugging him for a couple of years because I see him periodically. When are you coming on the show? And well, we've made it happen. So that day is today. Stacy says, I ordered my bundle. Oh, by the way, for those of you who ordered a bundle or did not, I dropped an email out to everybody who ordered a bundle with the 20% discount, because that was one of the things you got when you ordered a bundle, was 20% off any other free training day merch, which that is through the availability of the merch. So if you want to order something now or in a week or even after Free Training Day Northeast, you can still use that code that I sent out. But I also added something yesterday, a Free Training Day mug. And I thought about it because we've talked that Saturday morning we will have a special edition of First Cup with Jeremy. That's the morning of the 12th. And I thought we need a special mug. And I wasn't quite sure how to do that. And I thought about bringing the First Cup logo in, but it's not a First Cup event. It's First Cup showing up at Free Training Day. And I thought about doing one logo on one side, one on the other. And I thought, that's fun in the moment, but as people look back, they're going to want the Free Training Day logo on it. So it's the Free Training Day logo on both sides. It's a black mug, white logo. It looks kind of sharp. Check it out. It's at whistlekick.com. And you can still get patches, and we've got stickers on the way for the bundle bags. And I'm not telling you all the things that are in there. So much cool stuff in there. And if you're watching, we're talking about the sponsors. We have a speakeasy sponsor. We have a speakeasy that's sponsored Free Training Day Northeast. It's really cool. It's a cool spot. Stacey says the patch is beautiful. Did it arrive? I hope it arrived. We're trying to do cool stuff. We want everyone to be proud of Free Training Day, all of them. We're going to have to start numbering them. This year's Free Training Day Northeast will be FTD 8. Last weekend, FTD 6. This coming weekend, FTD 7. Numbering them like UFC fights, UFC events. Welcome to Free Training Day 46. Sounds kind of fun, right? But internally, we're going to need that to track them. Good morning, Andy. Have a great day. Steve says, yes, the patch arrived. So there we go. If you're part of the awards team, we have a meeting tonight. Stacey will, I'm sure, confirm all that information in our working group Facebook page. If you are coming to Free Training Day Northwest, I will see you this coming weekend. If you were at Free Training Day South, I had a lot of fun. Check out yesterday's episode with Elvis Stoico. Came out great. And that's going to take us to the end. Remember, if you do want to support us, if you want to grab something for Free Training Day or otherwise, you've got a code, FirstCup15 at whistlekick.com. You can join the Patreon. I put up a new audio episode yesterday. Those are all exclusives. For $5 a month, you get all the bonus audio. $10, you get video that sometimes releases as audio only, but not usually. And it just goes up from there. By the way, when you join, you can go back and you can get access to things that have been posted before. So if you really wanted to jump in and get access to everything, you could. I mean, I would hope you wouldn't do this, but you could plunk down, at the top tier and just go back through and download everything and have a ton of information to go through. We've been doing Patreon for a few years now, and it works well. And then I did update the family page yesterday, whistlekick.com/family. You got to type it in. That's how I know that you are really committed. We do this show every weekday, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Hopefully some of you are watching on Twitch. Got to get over the hump there. I hope you have a great day. Remember, if you ever have feedback or comments or anything for me for this show or for Martial Arts Radio, if there's something you want to work on, the way I describe the people that help right now, it's volunteer with a long-term play, right? Like nobody is technically a volunteer. We work out a profit sharing agreement, but a lot of these things are going to take a little while. But we track everything. Much like a Lannister, I always pay my debts. Oh, Dennis. Dennis is proving that he checked out the family page already. That was fun. That was fun. I knew it was going to happen too. Just I sort of staged a photo. I said, I'm going to come back and this photo is going to be this. So what am I talking about? Go to whistlekick.com/family and you can see. All right, everyone. I hope you have a great day. I hope to see you tomorrow. I hope whatever you're doing today is awesome. Hope you train, at least in some way, whether it's mental or physical. Listen to an episode, read a book. Why do we do what we do? To connect, educate, and entertain. Hopefully we're checking all three of those boxes with this show. I appreciate you, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Peace.